And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Oh, man, I yawned in the middle of the theme song, towards the end, and episode 354. And what's ridiculous is that yawn threw off everything. I didn't know when to turn down the sound. I didn't know when to bring up my mic. I'm flabbergasted. Welcome in. Here we are. Today is Friday, October 17th. Happy October 17th. I'm about 30 or 40 minutes awake from a nap. I meant to have a second workout. It's not so much a workout as much as it is a mobility thing. Several months ago, not several months ago, early at the top of this year, I started doing I'm trying to figure out how to work this out. I've mentioned this countless times before during mainline episodes of this show, as well as interviews during this show, during LinkedIn logs, and even during late night lately. I wake up at an insane time in the morning so I can start my workout and be done roughly before 7 a.m. And it's not as you might be thinking, oh, he wakes up at 5. It's not that. It's way earlier than that. Anyway, I do that, and it's morphed. It's gotten earlier over the years, which is crazy to think. But it's just the way I do things, and it has morphed into a lot of I'm getting older, so it's morphing into care at this point. And so I've instituted before I used to do just one straight up day of stretching with like 30 minutes to an hour of stretching. And that's great. That's more than most people do. Most people don't even stretch. And if they do stretch, it's 5 minutes at the end and it's nothing. Me, my Sundays are my stretch days, and I typically just stretch while watching football or golf or a movie or whatever. And they're nice and deep. Sometimes it's yoga, or yin yoga, because I do yoga about 3 times during the week for about an hour. Before I work out, it's usually it doesn't take me a long time. It takes me longer. Again, here's the thing. Bodies are different. It takes me longer than the regular person to warm up, but that's because I go into minute details. I do a lot of accessory work. Before the workout, I do a lot of accessory work during the workout because I want to take care of myself. If you saw the workout plans, you'd be like, that's too much. Even when I look at other things like online, I know it's too much, but it works for me, and that's what I like. I like a nice 10, 15-minute activation period, warm-up period. Then I get into the workout, and then I do a nice cool-down thing. Anyway, all that to say, at the beginning of this year, I instituted a second workout day. That is a 2-a-day on Wednesday. So Wednesday I do my regular stuff, my cardio, my gym, and then the gym work. And then I also do a mobility and stretching thing on Wednesday, preferably afternoons, but that turns into evenings a lot of the time. So that 2-a-days are nothing for me. On Tuesdays and Thursdays I do 2-a-day. I do 2-a-days. Where I cycling is in the morning, which is why it is roughly 4 hours of me working out on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but in the morning. But I do yoga, just like an hour of yoga, 50 minutes to an hour of yoga on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And now Wednesdays have a mobility and stretching day. But I've now, sometimes that day is not enough. And sometimes, and now my Friday is full of, it's a full body day. So I've instituted another mobility and stretching session, mostly mobility, on Fridays. This is a new thing, and I've only been doing it for a couple of weeks. And today, because I didn't have late night lately to do, I decided, hey, why not put this off for a little bit? And putting that off means I didn't record constitutionals, and I didn't do the workout when I wanted to. Instead, I beat Gears of War Reloaded because I wanted to get it off of my Xbox. I love Gears of War, and in some capacity, it's probably my favorite Xbox First franchise. But I was sick of having that game on my Xbox, and I wanted to delete it. I'm also trying to beat games quicker now. All right, let's get into that. I have to do the mobility thing probably before dinner, as the kids eat. Yeah. I have another pet. It's fine. There's a cat. You probably saw it in the videos, and I didn't want to announce it, but yes, there's a cat running around here. There's also speaking of that, on what's today? Friday. On Tuesday or Wednesday, it was yesterday. I don't know why I'm putting on Tuesday or Wednesday. Yesterday, I'm sitting at the computer, and I hear the cat by the balcony door, and she is pawing at it and trying to get outside. And I'm like, what? It's been annoying me because she's been doing it for the past week because she wants to go outside. And she's so tiny, I can't let her out there by herself at this point in time, or with Maverick, because I have seen her stick her dumb little head through the bars, and she's gonna try to walk on the other side. She is stupid enough to try it. Anyway, I hear her pawing at the door, and I go over to stop it because it is pissing me off, and she runs from the door. But there's no reason for her to run because I'm nowhere near her. And she runs from the door, and then she has something in her mouth. She catches something on the floor, and I just see little legs splayed out, and I go, oh my God. So I smack her on the head, and then she lets go, and then the thing runs under the couch, and I'm like, what is that? And then I follow it, I chase after it, get my phone, my flashlight, and I look, and I see it's like a lizard breathing so heavily. Or a lizard or a gecko or something, but it's tiny. It's small, not tiny. It is small. But I go, oh Jesus! So I grab a cup from the kitchen, and I try to scoop it up. It leaps in there willingly, and I go, okay. So I get up and I put my phone down, and I'm going to the door. I'm just walking very casually, and I know it's in there because it's like running in circles around this cup. It's a giant cup. It's a big cup you go to a basketball game. It is Atlanta Hawks Cup, I believe, or if it might be a Falcons Cup. I don't know. You go to, and it's one of those big oversized cups, and it fits in my hand perfectly, and it's like, I don't know, 24 ounces of water. I don't know. Anyway, and I open the door. The animals hear that I open the door. They get up and they rush outside. I'm like, boom, boom, boom. Before I even have a chance to put the cup on the balcony ledge, this thing runs around the cup and then jettisons itself off the balcony and down into the grass. And I go, what? Because I could feel its little tiny feet go, and I just see it go, wee, and it just flies down. I hope you liked the noises I made. Let's go back to the video game thing. This week I saw a movie. What did I see? The Smashing Machine. I biked over to my local Cineplex. Thank Christ it was at AMC, and it was at a reasonable time. I say that because next week I'm trying to see Good Fortune and Black Phone 2. It's not The Black Phone 2. It's Black Phone 2. And if I don't see Good Fortune on Tuesday, it's not going to show before 1 p.m. any longer. And I don't even think it'll be in the theater after next week in my AMC after next week. I don't want to go to the art house theater that's by Piedmont Park, the Landmark. I would like to go there. However, they don't have movies before 3 p.m. And I'm not biking back when children are walking on the Beltline. That's insane to me. That's crazy to me. I've been around that. It's annoying. They push each other in the way of the bikers, and it pisses me off. And if I ride by some kid and they're like, "How fast do you think he's going? 6, 7?" I swear to God, I'm going to beat a fucking child. The only reason I know what that is because of South Park. I'm lying. The only reason I know that is because a week ago, that was South Park. So yeah, I guess so. There we go. Hey, buddy. And then here we are. Also, Maverick has fleas. It's not a lot, but I saw 4. And thank goodness we don't have a lot of carpet in this house. But so it's not a lot. And it's not like in the cartoons where, they lay a bunch of eggs and then everybody's itchy and they're bouncing around all the time. And in fact, I only see like 1 or 2 on the couch at a time, but I do see them. Like they do hop, and I cannot kill them by picking them up with my hands and squishing them. I have to go to the sink and then wash them down. I vacuum the couch so many times. I have to give him a bath somehow. I do have dog bath stuff, but I have to give him a bath and try to get rid of these things. And then I have to like do a deep. They're also not in the bedroom, which is fascinating to me because that is the only place with carpet. But I have to do some type of deep clean on the pet bed as well as the couch because that's how they come back. But again, it's not like the cartoons. Thank goodness. Anyway, Smashing Machine, starring Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt, is I'm not a huge fan of the Safdies because they neither Safdie typically likes to work with a person of color. Very true. Look at their back catalog. And Benny Safdie did, but I have seen stuff that they've done, like Uncut Gems and Good Time. I saw Good Time, and that's it. And I won't watch anything else. And then I also saw The Curse. Obviously, I watched The Curse. Speaking of, we'll get to the chair in a second. Anyway, Smashing Machine was just whenever you hear about stories about people clapping at Venice for 12 minutes. You think is BS. And I'm going to say right now, it is BS. I do not like that stuff. I don't like hearing that they clap for 12 minutes and The Rock cried and it happens with all these other movies and it happens all the time. Dwayne did an excellent job playing Mark Kerr. Emily Blunt, for some odd reason, I just feel like she's an excellent actress who can just skate by unfortunately her character is really given nothing to Don Staples. Nothing to do except either be very doting on Mark Kerr, and this might be a symptom of who this woman is. She's either being doting on Mark Kerr or playing the victim when he was a better version of himself or something along those lines. But she's there's a point in the movie where she's like, he doesn't need me anymore, and I feel like it's kind of messed up that I only liked him when he was down or something like that. And it's an interesting watch, and I think everybody should watch it. It's an excellent movie, and again, you hear people say these whispers of Oscar for Dwayne Johnson. I enjoyed the movie, I really did, and I'm glad to see Dwayne going against type. Everybody else in the movie, Ryan Bader, who, according to his Wikipedia page, is a mixed martial artist. Let me tell you, acts like a mixed martial artist. But that's not a negative thing. He seems like a nice guy. He's a Trump supporter or something like that. Click on his website; it's like super racist. And then Bas Rutten was good too, but he's doing the best that he can. Dwayne obviously carried the movie, and it moved along at a nice clip. And I was thinking about this when I was biking back home. I'm so glad that this movie takes place in a condensed time period. It's a 3 year period between 1999 and 2001, and they don't mention 9/11, which is wild. No, it's wonderful that the fights were choreographed in such a way that everything was very believable, and every punch that was landed was just fascinating to watch, and I really enjoyed it. Even though I knew a lot of the story going in, there's no you can't ruin anything for this movie. It's if you know anything about Mark Kerr, if you read up on any interview that The Rock did, then you kind of already know the path the movie's going to take. But this is something different for The Rock. It's something different for his producerial company with Seven Bucks Productions and his ex-wife Dana Garcia and her new partner Hiram Garcia. I never say partner, so you know that that's something. Anyway, but this and Andy Kaufman is me. Like it's wonderful to see them branch out into something different that's not a movie like Black Adam or Red One or Jungle Cruise. And it's not to take away from those, although I didn't really like Black Adam. I don't say when I say I didn't really like Black Adam, I didn't like Black Adam. And for some reason, I enjoyed Red One, and I kind of am excited for the next one. But hopefully, this allows for Dwayne to do different things. It's like the Chicken Man movie that he and whatever Safdie did this movie will be working on. Is it Benny? Benny, yes. Yeah, it was exactly what it is supposed to be, and the same way that one battle after another is another one. I will say this: in every interview he keeps talking about the makeup. I had to put on 40 prosthetics or whatever. He does look like The Rock. However, there is a moment where he shaves his head towards the end, and I went, "Oh, this is a different person." And then I'm like, "Oh no, it's The Rock." And that wasn't like a massive change, but it is worth noting that. Yes, he does look different enough. So I just realized that Friends went off on TBS and now Big Bang Theory is playing. But watch it. This is a different type of sports movie, and I'm glad it exists. Do I want to watch it again? I don't think so. But if it popped up on a streaming platform or if it was on TNT, I'm like, yeah. All right. I beat Gears of War. I tried to transition back to that. I beat Gears of War Reloaded. It's the remastered version of the next gen version of the first game that came out in like 2006 or 2007. I don't remember. I remember playing it back then, and but I did not play the Xbox One version of the remaster. While it was on Game Pass. I wish I bought it though, so I could have it at least Reloaded for free. It looks good. It controls well enough. There are so many friggin' bugs. When I recognized that, it's a good game. It's a really good game. It is stuck in whatever year it came out. And unfortunately, they're like things that God, I just hated. I just hated doing things over and over again. But I muscled through, and it was nice to play it. I played it on the Steam Deck. I played it over Xbox xCloud, and I also played it on the Xbox. And then I knocked it out on the Series X. Just sat on the couch, and I was halfway through Act 3. And I said, what, I'm just going to do this. And I figure I have 4 hours, so let me just do this. I think it was roughly 2 hours. Mostly because I just went straight through. But what also came out this week was the Xbox ROG Ally, which is a new piece of hardware in conjunction with the who makes the ROG Ally? Hold on, Asus makes the handheld PC, the ROG Ally, and then Microsoft Xbox teamed up with them to make an Xbox branded version of it. Here, this is from NPR, written by James Perkins Mastromarino. Okay. The ROG Xbox Ally sells out despite disdain for shifts in Microsoft's gaming strategy. We know that last week or the week before, I think it was the week before, Microsoft said that they were upping the price. They were making 3 tiers of Xbox Game Pass, and they were upping the price to for if you want the ultimate version, it's going to be $30 per month. And then they changed the Microsoft Reward so that it made it even harder than it already was to get Game Pass just by having rewards points. And people were just in droves of selling their Xboxes and shitting on Microsoft and saying they're never going to play Microsoft games again. And PlayStation won the console war and this and that and the other. And then even before that, a couple of months ago, we learned that the new ROG Xbox Ally X is going to cost as much as just buying a gaming laptop, or it's even twice as much as buying a decent gaming PC. The thing about this handheld device is that it is not just a handheld PC, but it's also shaped like a controller, so it feels good in the hands. There's 2 SKUs of it. One that costs half as much, that's around $500 or $600, and that's the ROG Xbox Ally, and that one has a chip that allows you to play like PC games decently. But this Ally X allows you to play the games better, and it's going to look better, it's going to run better, and that's fine and well and dandy. But in comparison to the recently released Lenovo Legion Go 2, it's smaller, and they're both about the same amount of money. But then there's also the Steam Deck. There's Steam Deck OLED. There's many different handheld PCs on the market. And before we dive in anything, bereft of the price, this is still a device in a category that is largely new, and people need to recognize that. They're not putting a gun to your head and saying, you have to buy this if you're an Xbox fan. It runs well, and that's what everybody should take away from this, is that it runs well. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to buy it. There are plenty of things that I love that I can't afford, and price is the only factor of getting in. I like the Beyond Power Vultra 1. Every single thing online is how expensive it is. Hey, it's $2,000. You're a person who got it for free for a review. That means nothing to you, like truly. And looking at this device, it's like I have a Steam Deck, and I'm very lucky to have a Steam Deck. I literally want it. But otherwise, I probably wouldn't have. I definitely would not have a handheld PC device. And it's good that Microsoft is able to team up with Asus in order to make this. We know that Sony is probably working on a handheld device for next year. That's not the PlayStation Portal, even though they released the PlayStation Portal, which is just strictly cloud gaming. And then there's other ways to play these games. You can play it on your phone. You can play games via xCloud on your iPad and your PC. Obviously, it's not the best way to play these games. You might as well just, download Xbox for Game Pass on your Windows PC or play on your Xbox. But it's nice to have these things. I like this, and the difference between it is if you have a Steam Deck works. Xbox Ally X is hampered by Windows, but otherwise they're both full PCs. And there's ways to get around to play some of these games. It's sold out, and people are buying it, obviously because people are interested in it. I wonder if we weren't dealing with tariffs, would the price be a factor? Would it be $200 cheaper? Who knows? Because we know the Switch 2 is expensive because of tariffs. Or the companies are just pointing to tariffs as the reason. But anyway, I do like the Ally X. I do recognize that its price is otherworldly and out of my league, but I'm not factoring that in. I want a Concept 2 rower, But guess what? I don't have $1,000. That's I'm not going to knock it because it does one thing. Don't buy this. Don't. Just it's the same conversations over and over again. On a related note, Pokemon Legends ZA released yesterday, I believe. And first of all, I didn't know there was a Switch 1 version, so I could still play it. I played through Scarlet and Violet on Switch 1. And yeah, while it didn't run the best, I still enjoyed it. It's Pokemon. But I told myself I'm not allowed to do that because I'm not allowed to buy Legends ZA right now because A, I don't have any money. But B, I have to beat the DLC for Sword and Shield. I've already beaten one, so I have to beat Crown Tundra. I have to beat this for Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet, and then I also have to beat Pokemon Legends Arceus. So I have plenty of Pokemon games. So I'm thinking Christmas is when I get Legends ZA. And then hey, who knows? Maybe I'll have a Switch 2 by then, and then I don't even have to worry about performance stuff. But from what I have read and from what I have seen, I deliberately looked for comparison videos between Switch 1 and Switch 2. I read comparison articles between Switch 1 and Switch 2. We're all good. There's just it's more or less the same things but better from Scarlet and Violet. Anyway, this next one comes from The Hollywood Reporter, written by Caitlin Houston. Netflix inks deal with Spotify to stream video podcasts. This is a big move for Netflix. Starting in 2026, they're going to have podcasts available on the platform. Stuff you could already watch on Spotify, and don't quote me on this, maybe YouTube. I'm doubting that you could do it on YouTube, actually. Spotify Studios and The Ringer will be the main source for Netflix's video podcast. You'll get shows like the Bill Simmons podcast, the Zach Lowe Show, the McShay Show, the Rewatchables, Conspiracy Theories, and a few others. They're going to be launching in 2026, early 2026. And it's I don't know. This is something that doesn't need to happen. I don't think we need to put podcasting shows on Netflix, but Netflix is really turning into that be-all, end-all place to watch things. I saw that there was a tennis tournament with Alcaraz and Djokovic and all these other people, and then I saw that it was in Saudi Arabia, and I went, I can't watch it. I'm just not going to support that shit, but it existed. But they have sport. They have sports. They have live events. It's going to be some time. They had live comedy. It's going to be some time. Whoever has, I know Beyonce did the Beyonce Bowl in December of 2024, but whichever artist is the first one to have a live concert on Netflix and then to have it there after the fact, that's going to be huge. I'm thinking it's going to be a pop artist, and the first person that came to mind was The Weeknd, mostly because I love The Weeknd. And also I don't think that'll happen. If it was anybody, Bad Bunny's doing the Super Bowl, and he just finished the Puerto Rico residency. I think Netflix needs to get into the concert game. Do they have it? Has Netflix done a live concert? Netflix live concert. They have music and musicals. There's concerts. There's concerts on the platform, but I know that much. But there's not. I don't know if anyone's ever done a live concert, because speaking of Bad Bunny, the Prime Video aired that last concert, and that was fun. And Prime Video's done a lot of live concerts as well. I wonder if Netflix is ever interested in that, because I think that's much more fascinating than Spotify podcasts, which is ridiculous to me. Anyway, all right, this next one comes from The Athletic. You have noticed NFL TV ratings are soaring. Now understand why that's happening. This comes from Richard Deitch. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Yes, we are seeing a lot more viewership when it comes to sports. I think part of the reason that is why that is happening is because there's just, sports are huge. And obviously people are going to watch and support their teams. College football is very popular, especially if you're down here in the South and you don't have a personality. And tennis is somewhat getting bigger, but and golf is big. We're seeing, and obviously basketball and NASCAR, the rest of that. unfortunately, a lot of sports are split. And now for NFL, it's very difficult to get the NFL Sunday game package thing. I think it's very difficult, and I subscribe to YouTube TV, and that's where it is. But as Richard writes, the NFL, as most sports fans know, is far and away the most popular sport in the United States, and TV and digital viewership is the biggest reason the league can make that claim. This year, it feels as if every week the NFL and its media partners are boldly announcing via social media that they have achieved new highs in viewership. Per the NFL, games are averaging 18.58 million viewers, TV and digital, in 2025, the highest average through week 5 since 2010 and the second highest on record. NFL games are up 8% versus last year and up 9% over 2023. ESPN's Week 5 matchup between Kansas City Chiefs and Jacksonville Jaguars averaged 22.3 million viewers, the most watched Week 5 game of ESPN's Monday Night Football era since 2006, and up 40% compared with Week 5 last season, Saints versus Chiefs. Fox's 4:25 p.m. Eastern window is averaging 26.3 million viewers, up 3% over last year's average through week 5. Sunday's game in London, featuring the Minnesota Vikings win over the Cleveland Browns, averaged 6.4 million viewers, and that was at 9 a.m. my time, and I missed that. What is going on? She's trying to catch her tail. It's ridiculous. The third most watched NFL Network international game on record, and up 35% versus NFL Network's 2024 international games average. So what is going on? Why are we seeing 22 point so-and-so million people watching these games? Why are we seeing 9% jumps, almost 10% jumps? A lot of factors go into it. As Richard writes, Nielsen's methodology changes. The measurement tool, measurement firm Nielsen, has recently changed the way they track things. They used to use a panel-based measurement to track an audience, which was basically tens of thousands of households. I wanted to be a Nielsen family so badly. It was thousands of households. They would basically have their homes fitted with equipment that read what they watched, and that estimated, they were the representation for all of us, the people who were watching. It had a sample of 42,000 homes, or 101,000 consumers per Sportico. Now they switched to big data plus panel national TV measurement, in addition to its panel measurement from above. So where, you'd have a special box and it measured what you watched. Nielsen incorporates data from millions of homes with cable, satellite set-top boxes, and internet-connected smart TVs. It has data partnerships with companies such as Comcast, DirecTV, Dish Network, Roku, Vizio, and Vizio, which give access to 45 million households and 75 million digital devices in the U.S. alone. That means, obviously you're opting into this data sometimes, and whether you like it or not, they are watching what you're watching. Nielsen also added in 2025 an expansion of its out-of-home measurement. Out-of-home measurement is what it sounds like: a count of people watching programs away from the homes in places such as bars, hotels, restaurants, airports. This is obviously a massive driver for sports, given how many people watch in places like this. The prevailing sentiment in the sports and media businesses is that sports viewership has long been undercounted because out-of-home did not get comprehensive coverage. In 2024, Nielsen covered 66% of the U.S. contiguous television population. Now, the out-of-home measurement covers 100%. Nielsen obviously has its rivals, but and then also streamers don't report their numbers. So Netflix and Prime Video and Hulu, they don't report their numbers, but this is much more comprehensive than what it used to be. Nielsen's viewership changes have added a decent percent lift. The big data and panel changes are pretty big. And then when you combine that with the panel stuff as well, yes, you're going to see some changes. So the impact of close games also adds a bit to it. When you have upsets like the Chiefs, they're having a decent season. They were having the best season, and then also Taylor Swift, the possibility of her showing up because of her fiance Travis Kelce. it's a lot of it is different, and there's just more word of mouth, and really social media helps out with this too. So we're seeing big factors when it comes to the NFL getting more viewerships now. More viewerships. This comes from The Athletic as well. Continuing on the sports trip, F1 must now navigate the slipstream of Apple's previous media deals with MLB and MLS, written by Andrew Marchand. Listen, Apple TV, the newly renamed Apple TV, is no longer Apple TV Plus to differentiate Apple TV stuff that you buy on Apple TV and Apple's TV environment, as well as the Apple TV Plus streamer. It is just straight up Apple TV, which is the better name. Apple TV is, and that name change came, I believe, on Tuesday before they announced the iPads and the M5 and all that stuff, which is like not the thing I would lead with. But now they have 5-year exclusive rights for F1, meaning in 2026, after the ESPN deal ends, Apple TV is the only place you can watch for the next 5 years. The only place you can watch F1 stuff, F1 races. I'm not a huge fan of F1, and no, I did not watch the Netflix show. I have no interest in doing so, but I did watch the movie F1, which was fantastic. And I have tuned into races periodically because YouTube TV is so expensive. I have to watch a lot of shit just to justify. So I've tuned into races here and there for like the past 2 years, I think. Really at the height of the craze of F1, like everybody jumping in. I'm like, why is this so exciting? I had to support some cool European racers. But F1, they took the highest offer, $140 million per year. As a current rights holder, ESPN didn't move from a $90 million bid. I believe that they wanted something higher than 90, so obviously that's good. But this is such a strange acquisition for Apple, which I believe they're pulling in, or they paid 780 something like that million per year, almost $1 billion, something along those lines. For the races. I mean, for 5 years, it's just insane. But the question is, did sports are very important for a streaming platform. We know this is a fact. We saw how NBC Universal went after the NBA rights. We saw how even Warner, after they lost those rights, they're still investing in sports, and poorly, I might say. Apple's baseball and MLS contracts haven't proved very well. They had Friday Night Baseball, it didn't leave a dent. They had all of the American League soccer, so you did get to see Messi, who is playing for Miami, right? And you could watch, Atlanta United games, matches, but it's not. It felt kind of lopsided, where you still had to pay $10 per month on top of the Apple TV charge in order to watch these things separately. So MLB and the soccer were different. But although every time I loaded up Apple TV to watch Friday Night Baseball, and I'm not saying it was deliberate, but there were moments where I go, oh, what's on Apple TV? And I'm like, oh, okay, there's a baseball game. I'll only put this on for a couple of minutes. It would just be on, as opposed to, me having to opt in to buy it or whatever. So there's no real, as Andrew writes here, no real proof of success when it comes to how this is managed. I don't understand why they went for F1, but maybe they saw that people liked the movie so much that they were like, let's get into Formula One and try to attract more American fans. Which this is a way for them to attract more American fans. The F1 agreement with Apple mirrors what happened with both MLB and MLS. I was right, it's MLS. With MLB, the league was looking to make up money at a loss in a bigger ESPN agreement and made a deal for exclusive regular season doubleheaders on Friday nights for $85 million a year. With MLS, Apple took both domestic and global rights for $250. Wow, I didn't know that they took global rights too. That's far more than any other offer. See, this is the thing. They said they were going to reduce spending, and yet they're taking what they would spend on a show or a movie, and they're investing it in sports, which I guess works out for them on that end. But wouldn't you want to invest in things that people can watch continuously initially prior to taking away money from the shows and the movies? And yeah, you can say that they've done that for the past however long Apple TV Plus has been around, now Apple TV. But I still see there's no real definitive thing to go to Apple TV to watch. And don't say it's the morning show. I have no interest in watching that again. The numbers are good for those first two deals. Neither Apple, MLB, or MLS are willing to share. That's how good they are. But to put it plainly, when there are no numbers, it almost always means they're not great. So so the numbers are either good or bad, and we'll only see if but I don't think the MLB has re-upped with Apple. I don't know. Apple TV does not share subscriber numbers, much like its other streaming brethren. Let's see. Thanks to Lionel Messi, at least the MLS games had a little bit of buzz behind them. The Friday night Apple baseball games are not well received, something that's also entirely predictable from the day of the announcement. Okay. I don't know what this F1 will do for them, and 5 years is a long time, but it's very clear that the Formula One needed the money from this in order to survive. And I just clicked on a new article and I'm looking at it. But the thing that I can only see that's good from coming from this is Apple is capitalizing on a fad, not a fad. I will not call F1 a fad, but Apple is capitalizing on the fad of that show, the Formula One show on Netflix, and people and hoping that people are still attracted enough to Formula One races to watch them at home, to stay up and watch, the Le Mans or any other long form race, and that they would come to Apple TV to do it. Is that something, and by all accounts, the races do air at wild times because it's across the world. It's not just in Europe. It's not just in America. It's across the world, it makes me think that Apple thinks that people in California are going to stay up late and be like, I'm going to watch this race that's happening in Australia, and it's 2 a.m. here in San Francisco, and I'm going to watch this race. But I don't know, because for what it's worth, Formula One is still kind of unproven by itself when it comes to sports. To live sports. All right, let's move on. Speaking of the Smashing Machine from earlier this episode, this comes from Variety, written by Brett Lang and Rebecca Rubin. One battle after another projected to lose $100 million theatrically, as Smashing Machine and others also struggled due to oversized budgets. We have these Oscar contender movies that are meant to just win awards or bring recognition to their studios. But these movies often don't do well. Yeah, they're the ones like Oppenheimer that probably do well at the box office. What else did well at the box office? Maybe Suicide Squad did. Suicide Squad won an Oscar. Oscar-winning movie, Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad, the one with Will Smith. So congratulations to them. I will never forget that movie won an Oscar. And the director hates it, and the fans hate it. It is a movie I own, and I think it's fine in the end, but I just love that fact it won an Oscar for costumes, but it won an Oscar. And with these movies, what again, as I mentioned, they're only meant to bring, not just butts to seat, but recognition, butts to seats, but just recognition to the distributors, to the studios. And they have these buzzy stars. One battle after another not only has Leonardo DiCaprio, but it's got Tiana Taylor, it's got Regina King, it's got Regina Hall. It's got Sean Penn, and I don't think that they expected a Paul Thomas Anderson movie to make a buttload of money at the bank, but they need they need $300 million to break even. But this movie, it's an original movie, has only pulled in roughly $140 million. By all accounts, for an original movie, that's good. But they still need the money in order to make ends meet, Warner Brothers. They spent more than $130 million on production and $70 million on promotional efforts. And ticket sales were typically split 50-50 between studios and theater operators. The promotion is excellent. I saw a promotion up and down television, the internet. I saw it in real life. It's fascinating to see how this machine works. But did they really need that type of promotion when you can just say, hey, here's Leonardo DiCaprio in this funny movie where he's running from the police? Let's see. Are people there? One of the things is that's positive in this case, and it's going to be happening for until the end of time, until the end of theaters. Are people just waiting for these movies to go to streaming? I could have, in the case of the Smashing Machine, I know that next week, because Good Fortune comes out today, because Black Phone 2 comes out today, and because Predator Badlands comes out next Friday, I know that Smashing Machine would have been taken out of my local AMC, and I would have had to schlep over to, I say schlep, it's not like they're equidistant. I would have had to go to my Landmark Theater by Piedmont Park to go see that movie, after 4 p.m., which is not ideal for me. But I wanted to support this movie in theaters in the same way I wanted to support One Battle After Another. In the same way, I want to support the Springsteen movie. I want to see these movies in theaters. I don't want to wait for streaming. If I can, and it's not because, I think there's like any magic in the theater and all that stuff. I just want to support. It's not that serious. I just want to support these movies and show that, be a part of that process where, Warner Brothers can either decide to release their next big Oscar contender on HBO Max, or they can release it in theaters. And in order for it to be in the Oscars, it has to be in theaters. But this Oscar campaign that movies like One Battle After Another, or even Roofman starring Channing Tatum have to go through, they're multi-million dollars, and apparently One Battle After Another is on track to lose $100 million, according to studio executives with knowledge of economics of similar-sized movies. A Warner Bros. Spokesperson pushed back on those estimates while noting the company has enjoyed a successful year at the box office with hits like Sinners and a Minecraft movie. Well, again, Sinners is an original, and it hit the pavement in much in the same way that they probably wanted One Battle After Another to do, but it hit the audience in a different way, and thankfully it was able to make as much money and have that word of mouth. But also, it came out at a time where we weren't dealing with tariffs, we weren't dealing with so much happening around the world, and even though movie theaters are an escape, we're now dealing with a lot of economic downfall when it comes to us. So we have to people have to pick and choose. Hey, do you want to do this, or do you want to go see a movie? And unfortunately, that's just the reality of where we are right now. The studio spokesperson says that the anonymous sources are refuted, and films across the studio's slate, including One Battle After Another, have achieved financial reward in 2025 with more than $4 billion earned to date. Okay, well that's just like a figurehead. That's box office. It's not really yeah. And so as is added here, as box office is not profits. I don't know. It's The Conjuring Last Rites did so well that they're not going to end that franchise. It's money is important, and there are other great movies coming out this year, like Marty Supreme starring Timothy Chalamet, and Tyler the Creator, and it makes me wonder, can a studio like A24 that before would only put out, you know, 1 or 2 movies a year, and now its slate has been ramped up and it's putting up other movies that often don't do well or aren't received well. Can they continue doing this at the pace that they're doing? They kind of have to, but if they keep having and I'm not saying that the Smash Machine is a box office bust, but now it's only brought in like 17 million. Can they continue to do this? Can they continue to keep putting out expensive, lofty movies in order to gain little reward? Who knows? Speaking of Oscars, this final story comes from The Hollywood Reporter, written by Scott Feinberg. F1 team required to pick no more than 3 songs for Oscar race submits Tate McRae, Ed Sheeran, and Doja Cat tunes. Excuse me. Those are the songs I would have chosen, but this rule was created in 2008. It's called the Mencken Rule. It's the Academy's music branch capped the number of songs that any single film can submit at 3, and dictated that no more than 2 from any single can ultimately be nominated, which is forced films with great soundtracks like F1 to make some tough decisions. It's a smart move, and they chose the 3 best songs that I like. If you haven't listened to that soundtrack, it's astounding. I do believe that I have not seen the movie. And I have no plans on talking about it. But Tron Ares, that soundtrack with 9 Inch Nails and Trent Reznor, is amazing. So I can only imagine that what's the single from that? And it's something like "And Now I Hate You." I don't know what it's called. Hold on. Tron Ares soundtrack. Again, it's called "As Long as You Need Me to," as alive as you need me to be. I believe that is the only song with, correct me if I'm wrong, with lyrics. But I like that soundtrack mostly because I'm a sucker for Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross and 9 Inch Nails. But it is these are the 3 songs, especially that the Ed Sheeran song. My God. And I think the Doja Cat song is my second favorite. The Tate McRae song is love it or hate it, but I do think that Ed Sheeran and possibly Doja Cat might be Oscar nominated. It's we've seen some songs from the Jerry Bruckheimer produced movies be recognized by the Academy before. Flashdance, What a Feeling, won, and that was good. As well as Maniac from the same movie in 1983. Take My Breath Away from Top Gun. Shakedown from Beverly Hills Cop 2. Wow, yeah, that's right. How Do I Live? Wow, yes, from Con Air. I Don't Want to Miss a Thing from Armageddon. There You'll Be from Pearl Harbor, and Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick. Those are all excellent songs. I have a playlist called Soundtrackers, and I have 3 playlists called Soundtrackers. One has original scores, one has original songs, and the other one has video game songs. It is mostly just Persona. Yeah, it's I'm glad music is getting recognized, and I'm glad good music is being created for movies, because for a long time it really felt like, you know, after the 80s and the 90s, Blazing Saddles Part 2 has the greatest song Bon Jovi. Oh, come on. Just, it's one of the best songs in the world. Anyway, I'm not kidding. I love that song. But it felt like for a long time that songs were not getting, they were just getting acquired and put into movies. And I love an original song. So let's keep putting original songs in movies, and let's keep making great, fun, expansive soundtracks, because I'm going to be thinking about F1. Like, I love the movie F1, and I'm going to be thinking about that movie as much as I'm going to be thinking about the soundtrack, or soundtrack as much as the movie. So anyway, all right, I'm done. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, just in time to feed the kids, where you can see me you can see everything I've ever done. If you want to see a video version of this show, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can see a video version of this show, as well as the other podcast, Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show, which is on hiatus, and LinkedIn Logs, the Jobs podcast. You can also watch the video interviews that I do under the interviews. Subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. Watch them on youtube.com/cpluscomedy. Follow us on social media at cpluscomedy, TikTok, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Me on those platforms at Chad Black White. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.